out when nilikuwa na hizo paranoia and I was telling God, please, if I ever become sober again, I promise I will never do this again. Nilikuwa naona everyone is against me. I felt people are in the trees. I felt like people are coming for me. In fact, I remember my friends quote unquote wakisema wewe utachoma like cheza chini juu. I was freaking out. But
So thank you guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Coco. This is a channel where we bring stories to life. People who have come out of addiction, wenye wamekuja teen challenge na wamerecover. Wamekuwa in this journey, a 12 months journey, and they are doing well, they are doing okay, wamesimama. And today I'm honored to be with my good friend Dora. Manze, thank you very much kukaa manze.
It's an honor. Yeah. It's an honor.
This platform tumeanza as our own platform, yet in challenge, just to bring stories to life. Yeah, because there's so many stories. Yeah, people who have come to teen challenge. Yeah, and they have make it, and they are doing.
And they are doing big things.
They are doing big things. Yeah.
By the grace of God.
This is just a platform to show people like this thing works.
Yes.
And to bring the stories in life, so people can see different dimensions of addictions and different dimensions of them, how to come out of it. And what we have seen through Teen Challenge, it may work because of the Christ model, because of the spiritual aspect.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Leo, thank you very much, Manze Dora, kukam to our show.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so today, Ragatu tugusie tu right now, Dora, you've been in the program. Yeah. And now you're out and you are doing great things, amazing things. Na unajua una cruise leo siku hizi.
Niwaonyeshe kakis, wacha nisi. Believe.
Na unajua ni ku cruise tu, ni ku beep yani kwa barabara.
Songeni.
Yeah, that's God, Manze. That's
yeah, it's God.
To see you at this point, I feel overwhelmed and I feel so touched. Yani God can anaweza kufikisha at this level.
Really, he can.
So tuambie tu Dora, what are you doing right now?
Right now, I do a lot of things. Yeah. Number one, I serve, as you know, with the Women's Center. Yeah. That's one of the things that God showed me. You still have to continue in service. Yeah. The key to just remaining even in a place of submission to God is service in His kingdom. Yeah. And so we never outgrow that. So I serve in the Women's Center, Teen Challenge Women's Center. And then I am a business owner by the grace of God. Sikusoma ati I'll be a business owner one day. But just God gave me the ability to be creative, and that's what I do. Other than that, I also do social media marketing. I work with brands to promote them on the online space and influence our work. Akini grace ya God too.
Manze, because everybody has a gift.
Really.
Kila mtu mwenye anakuja Teen Challenge, he has a gift. And when you come out of Teen Challenge, that gift is imepatiwa ile light, so it can be shown to people. So Dora, tuambie tu yani livelihood, manze umelelewa wapi? Mtaani ilikuwa wapi?
Well, growing up, we used to move around a lot. Both schools and my home. So I was brought up in Nairobi though. And
which part of Nairobi?
There's a time we lived in Gong Road, tumeishi Ngumo, tumeishi Langata, tumeishi Karen. We were nomads of Nairobi. Tunaenda tukimove. And so I've been exposed to a lot of different places. That was how we were growing up, which meant also school-wise. Nilikuwa nasonga kusonga.
So you're jumping from school to school?
Yes. Yeah. And this is even before the times I was getting suspended. This was just my parents like, hey, let's try this. Oh, let's try this.
Your primary life?
Yeah, primary, I was in Makini. I was in a school. Haijulikani, lakini juu kwa estate.
It's a school.
It's a school. It's there. It's recognized by the government of Kenya. It was called a Sunview. Yeah. Sunview Primary School.
Ulimalizia, at which school did you finish your primary life? Ulikuwa mtu wa British system?
I started off right in the Kenyan system 844 nikahama British because my mom felt let her go. Actually I went to Brookhouse but that was because my older sister had gotten a scholarship. Now alisema juu tunampatia even you can come on a partial scholarship. So I ended up going and I changed from 844 to GCSE. There kulikuwa na culture shock. You know, we were okay financially. But now when I went to British school, ndio niliona students coming to school in cars. You know, you're bragging gari ya mzazi wako, but then they're actually driving to school. It opened me up to a new, I saw
a reality, a new reality.
Exactly. I'm like, wow, okay, people are living their life, you know. Also, I was able to be exposed to different types of people. Mi nilikuwa nimezoea wa Kenya, sasa hapo niliona wazungu, niliona Walami, you know, we only used to see them on TV and kidogo at the malls, but now I was seeing them, we were interacting with Indians, we were getting to know different cultures, different religions, which was a good thing for me. I feel like even in my schooling life, the hand of God has been on my life in that. Even in my schooling life, I was exposed to different cultures because even in my calling, God is taking me to the nations. And that's to say that God's hand is on you even before you know him or even before you cry out to him. You'll be able to look back useme, wow, God has been using this circumstance to prepare me for the places I'm in.
He always has a purpose for you going through all that.
Exactly, nothing is in vain.
And in your primary life, did you experience, to say like in that level of life, did you experience any drugs or were you introduced at any point?
Primary, no, not in school. But at home, my dad was drinking. So nilikuwa nimeona tei. I knew about alcohol, even at family events, watu walikuwa wana tei. So sometimes, you know, I would be like, nionje tu kasip, nione vile ina taste. But nothing major. I wasn't like exposed to like hard drugs or just the social drinking. It
was just the alcohol.
At home.
And now, when you shifted from the primary life, you went to
high school.
So how was your high school? How was your
high school? Now vitu zilianza kuchemka. Hapo ndio kulianza kuwa kunoma.
Hapo ndio ilichemuka.
So in high school, definitely now I started knowing these other drugs because people in school would bring drugs to school. In fact, tulikuwa na mapedla in the class. Especially for weed cookies. Weed cookies, they are very, you can't smell them, you can't nini.
You just
tunakula tu lunch. By afternoon, uko things. So I was exposed to now more drugs. I remember in high school is the first time I tried kuber.
Okay, after alcohol, the next thing you tested was
cigarettes. Yes. And by the way, all these things, even if I was seeing them outside in school and what have you, I bought my first drink for myself. I bought my first cigarette for myself and I tried them by myself. I didn't need you know how there are those parents who are like, ebu chunga nani. In fact, my parents used to tell me, huyo ndio influence mbaya. They didn't know I'm the influence. I'm the one with the problem. Yeah, it's me. I'm the one that people should warn their children about. So I bought for myself the first alcohol.
It was not peer pressure like some people introduced you to...
Like, okay, yes, I saw it from people and I'm like, wow, but
nobody gave you like...
Nobody yet, he said, ebu jaribu. Although, now for weed, because it started with alcohol, then alcohol cigarettes, then alcohol cigarettes and weed. For weed, I was given. And the first time I was given, guess where it was? In a church camp.
Nowhere.
Tulikuwa camp ya church. I'll never forget, we had traveled to this school in Nakuru, almost in Nakuru, inaitwa Greensteads. Tulikuwa tumeenda a camp for the week and you know, in that church camp, they invite different people. It's not just the children for church. You as a child from church can invite your other friend who doesn't go to the church. So kuna mtu, there was a, exactly.
Hapo ndo vitu ambao alikaanza bwana.
Tulikusanyika in that place. And I remember trying my first blunt. But I remember taking 3 puffs and I was gone. And actually I was having a panic. Yeah, oh my gosh, will I ever be normal again?
Paranoia.
Yeah. Kiriniramba. So I was feeling like, oh my gosh, will I ever be normal again? And I remember a prayer I made that day. Because by the way, all through primary, high school, nilikuwa church. I was in worship team. I was, you know, so I knew about God, let me say. But relationship was just nini. So I cried out when nilikuwa na hizo paranoia, and I was telling God, God, please, if I ever become sober again, I promise I will never do this again. Nilikuwa naona everyone is against me. I felt people are in the trees. I felt like people are coming for me. In fact, I remember my friends quote unquote, wakisema we utachoma, like cheza chini juu. I was freaking out. But I became sober. And I still used again, obviously.
Yeah, because you wanted to experience the...
Yes, I was like, labda ni juu nilikuwa strand ya weed is not the right one to use.
Oh.
Yeah.
That now in high school you were using alcohol,
cigarettes, then weed.
But it was not that intense.
Yes, I was still able to
go to school. By the way,
I was top of my class.
You're still performing.
I was still performing, and I wasn't using that much. I was able to control. See, I'm sure you've talked about this. Addiction is not built in a day. Ni mdogo gradually. So you go experimental stage, habitual, social.
But eventually you finished high school.
Yeah.
But how many high schools did you go?
Maybe 4.
4?
Yeah, and I was being suspended. I would be expelled.
And the expulsion were about...
drugs.
No, it wasn't about drugs.
In fact, I just had this itch ya kufanya vitu mbaya. Like, I enjoyed rebellion. I enjoyed like doing things. I remember one time that I was expelled from a school was because I had taken a teacher's phone and hidden it in like the bushes. But for me, just the fact that he didn't know where his phone was, it was so exciting for me, and I was laughing and enjoying. Like, that's the exact picture to show you. The drugs are not even the issue. Us by nature, we are sinful. Like by nature, even somebody who has never touched drugs, they need God, because the nature of man is so sinful. You see there was nothing to gain, but still niliko.
So the drugs in a highlighted way, and it just makes the behaviors be more visible.
Exactly. It's just that the drugs have more consequences. But you won't know. You know, a womanizer, you won't identify them easily. But an alcoholic, you can smell, you can see his relationships, behaviors, jobs, nini. So it's easy for people to point a finger like this. But remember, there's 3 that are pointing back at you.
So, and after high school, just tell us, after high school, how did it go? Now, because you're introduced to drugs, but you finished high school. Now from high school, your journey with the addiction, how did it go?
Progress, yeah. Let me tell you something important though. At the age of 17, I got into a relationship. I was leaving high school. This was my first major relationship, and it turned out to be a 6-7 year relationship. And it was with a guy that was way older than me. He was 22, I was 17. And he had finished university, he was working, so alikuwa na exactly. So I felt as a girl leaving high school, nime make it.
You have make it.
In fact, I was looking at the other girls who are with me. I'm like, you're relying on pocket money. Pocket money. Mi nishapanda ligi. You know what I mean? So that also exposed me to, now I can use as much as I want. Nimemaliza high school. The money is not an issue. I'm no longer relying on my parents to give me.
The guy was also using?
Yes, he was smoking weed and he was drinking. By the way, that's when now I got into smoking weed so much, because he used to tell me, I sing by the way, you know.
I know. And you're very
for the
marvelous.
viewers, I sing.
You have a very nice voice.
Kidogo. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so he used to tell me that he was a producer. He used to tell me that when you smoke weed, inakusaidia na hizo creative juices flow. So I used to believe and I used to think, okay, now smoking weed is, and I used to think weed is herbal, it's a plant, so it does you no harm, it's medicinal. That's when now the hype of even America saying how weed is this came into play. So that really exposed me. Remember, I finished high school with very good grades, but now because the drug started being the center, I stopped really pursuing school. I went to different schools. I went to USIU.
At that time, you were in university?
Yeah, now I went to try different universities.
What were you majoring on?
In which one? It depends which university.
Each school was a different
Each
major.
one was like, it's because that course was not for me. But really, I'm the problem. Really, I'm the problem. Yeah. But when I left high school, I was caught once smoking weed. And I was taken to court. My parents then at that point felt I should go to the States so that I can change the environment. But they didn't realize that the problem was internal. So whether they took me to Antarctica, they took me to Japan, they took me to... Yes, exactly. I was with myself. But the first university I went to was in the States to study music. Then remember I was in that relationship, so I just felt like, no, I've left my heart at home. My man.
So you're still thinking of your man?
Because, one of the root causes even of my addiction was this trying to look for affirmation, validation, a love that I was longing for. But it's only God who can give us the love we so desperately desire. But for me, I had settled for this counterfeit, which was this guy. But for me, he was like my everything. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I already saw our wedding, our kids. Look at me now, okay? Humble yourself before the Lord. Let him lift you up, because after 7 years... Still, we tuko kwa. But yeah, so I came back. I decided to do journalism. I went to Daystar. That is where things took a drastic turn for the worst, because now I was introduced to a new drug, and that was heroin. Yes. Now, I always say I didn't know I was smoking heroin when I was smoking heroin for the first time, because I always thought that heroin is injected. Yeah. Yes, it was laced in my weed. So my friend told me, I have this weed, lakini hii si bangi ya kawaida, hii iko na high ingine. And remember, I was always trying to chase this high, chase the next feeling, chase this, to umeikuwa na each mahali na uwezi fikia, like you're trying to, so I was like, nipatie. And I smoked heroin for the first time at the age of 21. And let me tell you, at that time, it was the best feeling I have ever felt in life. Yeah. And so for me, I just felt like, this is what I've been searching for. Little did I know that that was the thing that was going to be taking me to an early grave. So what I did was, now I stopped alcohol so much. Juicy, unajua drugs ziko na classifications. Hauwezi compare alcohol na heroin. Once you start heroin, now alcohol ni child's play.
Heroin, it releases more dopamine than alcohol,
definitely.
So
and so I continued now taking heroin. Even when I found out sasa ni heroin, I was in too deep. They say if you use heroin even once or twice, you're hooked. Yeah. You're hooked. Yani you'll do anything.
But at that time you're still smoking it, you're not injecting it?
I've never injected. I've always just smoked Junaogopa needles, but that was a protection of God over my life. But yeah, so now I started smoking heroin. When I started smoking heroin, my life now began to deteriorate rapidly. Juu heroin inanyonya mwili, inanyonya your relationships, yani every part of you is sucked by
like
yani you're going head first into a drain. Unajua maybe alcohol sometimes there is a way you'll avoid rock bottom for a while. Unaweza cheza.
Eventually you'll reach,
but it'll be slower. The decline will be slower. But for heroin, unaenda 100 kilometers per hour. And so I only used heroin for 3 years. But in those 3 years, I lost relationships. I lost even this guy. Sasa, I was telling you that I entered the relationship with when I was 17. That we left each other. Juu sasa he's like, you umegraduate level ingine. Mi nataka tu tuvute bangi tukunywe pombe. But you see, ananiambia mi ndio nimegraduate level ingine. You go to another level. But you see, sin hauwezi iwekea box. Like you can't say I'll only be stealing shoes. Once you become a thief, utaiba the thing that is available next to you. Yeah, sin is sin, and it grows. It grows. What you feed grows. What you feed grows. So I was like, whatever. I don't care about the guy. Relationships now with my family. I didn't want anything to do with my sisters, my mom, my dad. You don't want anybody who is going to tell you the truth. An addict loves to be isolated, so you can be in your own world peke yako. Opportunities for school, I had lost them. Now in between then, I had tried USIU and also multimedia. So total of 4 universities I've gone to. I've never even finished first year of any of those universities.
No way.
Yeah. It reached a point my parents even gave up on paying for me school fees. Because I would naenda semester moja and then simalizi. So you see now the drugs had become the preoccupation. Now everything I did revolved around, is there drugs or not? If I would go to an event, I would go if I know kuna pombe. I even ended up missing my sister's wedding in South Africa. I knew there would not be any alcohol there. So nilipiga hesabu tunaenda wiki moja. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to go to South Africa na hakuna pombe. So it began to become my occupation and what I was centering my life around. And this continued now until I hit rock bottom at the age of 24. Yeah.
So at what time did you come to Teen Challenge?
I came to Teen Challenge November 29th. 2018. I will never forget that day. It was the day niliinua mikono and I said, I'm between a rock and a hard place. If I don't choose life right now, death is going to swallow me. So I knew I had an important decision to make. I knew that if I don't make a decision that day, things were going to become so bad. I was going through withdrawal symptoms all the time. I'd gotten to a place where I was smoking about 8 sachets of heroin a day.
8 sachets of heroin?
Yes.
No way.
And 1 sachet of heroin is 150 times 8. Nilifail math, lakini fanya hiyo.
That's like almost 1,400 there out of 1,500. Yeah. Yeah, that's like almost, it's over 1,000 shillings.
Exactly. For somebody who is not working, not earning, not being paid, not generating any income. So, I couldn't sustain the lifestyle. So I was going through so much. And I remember it was a period of time I was not even at home. And I decided to come home and just ask my mom to take me to Teen Challenge. Because she had tried so many times to convince me. See, when the Teen Challenge, I actually used to come, I stay like 2 days, nakula because sometimes I needed the food. So I knew free food, nitakuja Teen Challenge, watanipatia chakula, and then I jumped the gate, or I asked to leave, or... but this time I was serious. I wanted change. I wanted a new life. And remember I told you growing up, I was taught about God, I was taught about Jesus Christ, I knew scripture. But now I didn't just want to read about Christ. I wanted to see him for myself. I didn't want to
experience him.
Yes. You know, there's a difference between head knowledge and experiential knowledge, where you can say, I have encountered God and it has changed my life. Where somebody can't even tell you, I unaamini, like question your faith, because you for yourself umeona Mungu. And so I told God, I surrender, transform me. Nilidhani itakuwa popcorn transformation.
Nah, it does not
but
happen
it was not. It was not. Up until this day, it's been...
Because God will subject you to so many tests.
Exactly.
To ask you if you really want
it. He's purifying you. He's taking things away. In John 15, it talks about the vine dresser who cuts off branches so that the tree can bear more fruit. That's how we are in the hands of God. He is cutting things away, and it's a painful process. It's hard. I remember when I came to Teen Challenge, the first week, I did not sleep. I did not eat. I was drinking water, but I was throwing it up. And this was definitely because my body was going back to factory settings.
Withdrawals.
Withdrawals zilinichapa, zilinitandika. Withdrawals. Oh my gosh. Withdrawals for heroin, I would not wish it on my worst enemy. It's so bad. Yeah. You're having a running stomach, you're throwing up, you're feeling cold, then you're feeling hot. Kuna jua nje lakini you're shivering, like it's so bad. So actually when I came to Teen Challenge, I lost weight before I started gaining weight. So things became worse before they became better. But I had to stick it out because I knew where I've come from is death. Heri nipambane hivi, nione the light, kuliko now turning back. Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice, Manze Dora. And right now, just to see the fruits of you coming to Teen Challenge and now how you are building yourself up and all that journey, hiyo njia yote umepitia, it has been vigorous testing, and you went all through that just for the glory of God. For this moment, you can preach the gospel and tell people this is possible, and this is it is necessary for God to come and live inside you and let Him transform you.
Exactly.
Because most of the people try to seek rehabilitation for 3 months, you know, but they're just dealing with the body, but they're not dealing with the spiritual aspect of it. Dora, I'm really thankful, manze, umeka mko hii platform yetu, and you've been a girl of Teen Challenge all through.
And
thank you for representing.
Women's Center, by the way, ikianza, even before the first student was there in 2015, I believe it was. I used to go there with my mom. We used to pray with the first staff members who were there. Little did I know that my mom's obedience even to start the Women's Center would equal my freedom years later, you know?
She saw that.
Exactly. So had she not obeyed, we don't know. But I'm just grateful for Teen Challenge. I'm grateful for the program because it is only when you align to who you are that you're able to do life right. You know? And you have to replace the drug. You have to replace, and there's nothing sweeter to replace that with than Jesus Christ.
Because there's a void, and that void has to be filled.
Lazima. Exactly.
We can only fill it by Christ and knowing Christ and your spiritual aspect and your personal relationship with God.
Exactly.
Most of the people don't try to realize that you're working on the body, but you're not working on the spiritual aspect, because the spiritual aspect is the core place where you have to start so that you can project it to. Thank you very much, Dora. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And if you want to know more about Teen Challenge, I'll give the link to the next video there, and we'll see what we are doing and how. And there's so much videos of people who have been to Teen Challenge and they have come out and they are doing well. You can go and check out in our page. And thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time.